Oops, hold on. Welcome! I'm just setting up. Give me 1 second. I thought I had this. Thought I had this adjusted. I don't know what happened here. There we go. That was weird. Okay. So, today I am finishing my Link watercolor. I'm going to open up my reference images in just a minute. Okay, let's see. How's everyone doing? Thanks for waiting or tuning in. Okay. Photos. Did I download it? I did not. I left it in my email. So I'm going to pull up my reference image. Why isn't Gmail there? Okay, apparently my Gmail was deleted. I let my kids use the iPad, so it could have accidentally gotten deleted. We'll see. Darn. Shoot. I don't know what's going on. Oh no, what am I gonna do? So I think I'm gonna have to go into Chrome. Give me 1 minute. And of course Chrome is crashing. Hello, I'm trying to pull up my reference image, but Gmail got removed from my iPad somehow. So I'm just gonna check Gmail on Chrome because it has to be reinstalled and I don't want to take more time up doing that. Does everything sound and look all right? Well then, I have to sign in to my email and everything. It's not saved. I have no idea what happened here. But anyways, I'm signing in. Oh my gosh, and of course I don't remember my password. Son of a gun, is it not in the cards today? Alright. Okay, I'll just look it up. Because it's going to take too long. I'm having issues getting into my email now. Okay. There we go. I just need it for shading and coloring reference. Okay. I think I'm okay now. Let's see, where are my other paintbrushes? I like the thinner. Where did I put all my brushes at? Are those it? Just that one. I guess that's it. I don't know why I like... Maybe I'm not looking well enough. Oh, these are about similar. I use these. Oh, here they are. I'm trying to take out the the smaller ones that I know I'm gonna probably need. I like using round brushes for watercolor and not flat brushes for small details. So, hey, Abola's Kitchen, Agent Finch, hi, how are you? Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully I get to finish it today. I'm hoping. If not, I mean, I'll finish it off stream. I was gonna finish it off stream and everybody's like, oh, you should finish it on Friday. So here I am. How are you guys doing today? Oh, from Wednesday. Thank you, Cervantes, for plugging that. So now I'm just gonna go in and push the contrast with the highlights and the shadows a little more, give more dimension. If I wanted, I could stop with the shadows and highlights here for a softer look, but I want to darken up the green a little bit and add a little bit more detail within the folds here, and then darken up the boots, maybe the blue a little bit. So this is going to be a combination of watercolor and colored pencils, because at the very end, for the small details, like the facial features and part of the shield here, I'm going to be accenting using colored pencils, just because for me, like doing such small detail like that in watercolor is really difficult, especially the way I apply watercolor is really loose. So there's not enough allowance for that to happen. So I'm going to do like a hybrid. Hey Ozzy, how are you? Yay! Oh yeah, it's been a minute, huh? Good. Cleaning and watching. Oh, that's good. Cleaning, I mean, I don't like to clean sometimes, but I find like when I'm stressed or anxious, cleaning helps, like to exert that energy. Yesterday I was feeling really anxious, so I call it rage cleaning, but I wasn't enraged. I was just really anxious and overwhelmed, so I was like, I'm gonna clean the bathroom. Okay, let's see. I think I might put a little bit of this blue. So I like having the palette so that I don't have to totally mix colors, but if I need to make a custom color, I can. I'm wondering how higher quality watercolor would look too. Like this is just a palette I had got from Target when I was like deciding I wanted to start doing art on my own again, and not on stream. So I'll have to keep that in mind if I'm going to continue doing this after I use this palette, see like what a higher quality watercolors look like. Is this the blue? So what I like to do is apply most of the color, and then to get that gradation I pull it out with water. It's actually smaller. So right there I apply some water and I'm kind of pulling it out to create a gradation effect. So it makes shading really easy, I think, when you use watercolor, at least for me. Okay, I was just checking my frame rate. It's okay, sorry. Yeah, if you see me randomly like waving my hands in the camera, it's because I'm trying to figure out if I'm still on, if the frame rate looks okay. Because sometimes I don't pay attention to that stuff, and then later people in chat are like, hey, something's going on with your camera. I'm like, oh, okay. I get so distracted with like doing stuff here. I forget sometimes to look up at like the settings and if everything looks good. Okay, so I don't pull the ink that's all the way at the edge. I just do like the end part. So like when I put the ink down or the watercolor down, I don't pull all of it up. I just pull about half of it up so that I'm still maintaining some of that darkness where I need it. This side's a little darker because it's in shadow, so I have to push that a little bit more. And when I do this, especially since this isn't watercolor paper, I was actually using Bristol board, I need to be careful about how much water and paint I'm applying so it doesn't overwork the paper. Oh my gosh, I've been muted. Sorry about that. I was just explaining what I was doing. I have to mix custom colors for the leather, but I'm still going to pull off some color for the highlight. So I'm going to clean that same brush, and then I get a blank rag or whatever, a clean rag. Mine's dirty. It's fine. Anyways, I dampen the brush, and then I lift some of the color off of where I would like the highlight to be. I don't recommend doing this too much, like I said, because you can overwork the paper. It's easier if you have actual watercolor paper. I do have some, they're just really small. I wanted this larger, so I put it on Bristol board. And also the way watercolor behaves depends on the kind of paper you put it on. This actually isn't that. isn't that dark there. Shoot. See, you can add some of that in. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Battle Royale. Nice. Have fun. May the odds be ever in your favor. There we go. Oop. So I'm going to let that part dry, and then I'm going to work on pushing the shadows a little bit more on the glove. Let's go to the boots, and then I'll move up to the hat. So what I have to do to let some of the paper rest, and so I can do that layered effect, is I will work on a part of the painting, let that dry, move on to a part. So I'll be moving around a lot. Nice. Nice win. Okay, let's see. I think, yeah, I have to mix up a custom color too. This is like a coppery type of color. Okay, so let's see if I can mix one up here. I'm gonna add some of this like goldenrod yellow. Some brown. Oops. It's actually darker than that too. I'm gonna have to add some black to that. Oop, that was too much. And I might actually work for the shadows. Let me add a little tiny bit more brown to that. I want a dark brown. This is like mostly black. Let's see, I'm gonna use this on my practice page to see if it's the right color I want it to be. Oh, yeah, it's dark brown. That'll work for the boot. So I'm looking at where the shadows are at, a majority of the shadows. I'm adding those in, and then what I'm going to do right now, try to work quickly while the paint's still wet. Okay, I can come back and add more if I need to later. So I'm going to get some water on my brush and move that out now to create the gradation. So I'm only grabbing about half of that paint to pull it out. There we go. Now I have to add the highlight later. I might have to do that via Prismacolor. We'll see. It's easier to layer and add than it is to take away in watercolor. So that's something to keep in mind if you guys ever do decide to paint some watercolor. Okay. So I'm doing that same technique on the boot. I have to pull some of that back. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just layer that in here and then pull some back. It got kind of sloppy there. I'm still working on this. I'm not done with the boots. So if anything ever looks kind of funky, it probably means I'm still working on it. I'm just not going to finish that part at the moment. Or it could just look funky. Sometimes that's the case too. Oh, sorry, yeah. I had to open my door. It was muted. I apologize. Thank you. My kids were knocking at the door, so I had to let them in and mute my mic for a minute. Well, it's not looking too bad on stream. I'll have to push some of the highlights and shadows a little bit more, but I have to give that paper a rest here again and keep moving around to build it up. Oops, there we go too. I see what's going on here. It's a little bit darker. And comes up to here. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. There is that like goldeny brown color here though. I do want to fill that in so it has a chance to blend with the other colors. Thanks for the follow, Fong. I didn't see my notification come up. Thank you. So I'm just adding some of that golden color to the highlights so that it can blend a little bit. Yeah, I think I might have to let that dry a little bit before I layer on some more color. I think I'll stop right there for the boot, and then I'm gonna move to the next one, and then I'll probably move to the hat and back to the rest of the clothing, and then to the glove. So what I think I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna add that golden color all around, and then I'll come in with the shadows. Thanks, Cervantes. I appreciate that. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna do like I've been doing and blend it with the water. So I get some clean water. I use that to my advantage to thin the paint and create the gradation. Let's see. There we go. So what I'll do is I keep adding to it. I'm adding like the blocks of highlight and well, mostly shadows, and then I go in with more detail every time I go over it. Oh, thanks, bot. Okay, it's kind of darker there. Oops. Okay, so I am gonna pull that paint out now. So I let that side dry a little bit too much, so it's harder to blend. So that's when I was saying earlier that you got to work a little quickly after you lay down the paint to blend it with the water, like help it come out with the water. It gets a little bit more difficult and more controlled for me, and I don't like that. I like the like fluidity of watercolor, so I try to do it while it's still pretty wet. So I'm using the dry brush to lift some of the paint off to just let me know where that fold is at and where the highlight is, so it doesn't get too dimensional. And I'm able to see where I need to add more shadows. But accuracy is actually better when you do that, so that you don't have to over take paint off here and work the paper too much. Ah! So after I swipe the wet watercolor, I tap my dry rag here to get the extra water and paint off while I'm lifting it. kind of have to work quickly too, so this works in my favor when I stream. Having to lift a lot of the color off quickly or work quickly with the paint. Because usually if I do other mediums, it takes me a really long time. Okay, I think I'm gonna let the boot dry and then continue working on it. Yeah, I'll continue working on it there. So I'll let that part dry and then come back to it. Alrighty. Work on the hat now. So I need to add more green. I just put the highlights down, so now I'm going to work on more of the mid-tones. Oops. So in watercolor you work light to dark. Put down the lighter colors first and then work up to the shadows. I think I'm going to have to custom mix a green here, I think. We'll see. Alright, so now I got like a decent mid-tone. I should test it out. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so alright, so I'm just adding that mid-tone color in and I'm going to build it up. I'll slowly add more detail as I go along. It's getting a little dry, so I'm going to dampen my paintbrush to help blend that some more. Just trying to get like the base colors down and then I will add to it. Oops. It needs to come up a little bit more, I think.
Hey man, ain't no way I'm gonna be up and have my nigga out here looking broke.
Okay.
I understand these niggas. Oh, wait, hold on. What?
This
New
Twitch
phone. Who is? New phone. Who
stuff.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to find something else too.
Look. Ain't no way I'm gonna be rich and have my nigga looking broke.
Oh my goodness, this is so uncomfortable.
Hold on, wait. Ain't no way I'm gonna be rich and have my nigga looking broke.
I was saying I'm going to custom mix a green now because I need like almost a black green like I did for the brown to do the shadows. Probably add a little bit more green, just a bit. Let me test it out on my practice sheet. Oh, that works. It's a dark green. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same technique and soften the edges a little bit with some water. So I just pull the edge of the paint out. There's different techniques you can use too. Sometimes I use a wet on wet technique where you put wet paint on top of wet paint and it mixes around, and that's like more fluid, but it creates some really cool effects. There's wet on dry where you apply the wet watercolor into dry paper, and that creates more of a defined, controlled look. Sometimes I do that too. It just depends on the look you're going for. I'm going to have to pull back some of this color in a minute. Okay, let's do that now while it's still wet. Let's get a smaller brush. I need a teeny tiny little brush. Is this thin enough is the question. I don't think it is. Oh, sorry. Alright. I had to pull some away. See, it's too soft, a little bit too soft of an effect here on the bottom. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a little too soft and diffused. I want more of a defined look for the shadows. So that means I need to let that part of the paper dry first and then come back to it. Okay. So I'm going to work on this shadow over here then. And you have to make sure you don't get too close to where it's wet too, or else it'll bleed into itself. did that too far up. I have to blend that out and then push it back again. The placement was wrong, and that's okay because it's a little darker in this area anyway. So I will just do what I did earlier. Oops, I don't want to lift it off. I just wanted to blend it. So there's like a lot of finesse with that too, and I'm not always like that great with it. Sometimes you pull off the paint and you don't mean to. You just wanted to create a more diffused look, and sometimes I pull some of the paint off. So that stinks, but it is what it is. Something weird's going on here. I'm just going to add that green and then layer it back on. I didn't like the way that looked. So here I'm going to lift some of the color off for the highlights. I just need to move that green around a little more. So I'm soaking up some of that paint to pull it off for the highlight. I'm taking out the highlight still since it's still wet. I'm just pulling off some of that to create the folds. So watercolor is like an additive and a subtractive type of medium, I guess. You know, like some people erase pencil or whatever to create the highlights. You can kind of do that with water. See if I can use a drier brush to pull more off. Alright. Sorry I went quiet for a little bit. Kids had to come in my recording area, aka my bedroom. I should have pulled more off the paper while it was wet here. Okay, I'm gonna let the hat rest a little bit. I'm gonna let the hat rest, and then I'm gonna go to another part of the painting because I still need to add more shadows. I think I have the midtones where I want them for the most part. There we go. That was bothering me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna move on to the rest of him now. His clothing. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull some of that color. Not off, but out. Add a little bit more of that over here. Yeah, I might not be able to do too many more layers because the paper's getting overworked. And this type of overworking I cannot recover from once it happens. So what happens is the paper starts to peel off. So if I wet it too much, it's going to get a hole in it. So I have to be really, really careful now and make sure I finish this quickly before I add lots of more paint and whatnot on here. Yes, I try to like homeschool during the day too. So periodically they need help or want to come in here. Let's see. I'm taking off the little tiny bits of highlight I see. I think I might be done with the color on there for now. So I still try to create that watercolor look. I'm not trying to create like a super crisp, accurate look. I don't know if that's the right word. But I'm working with the watercolor, not against it, I guess is a way to say it. To water down some of this darker green. Okay. I think that may be it. I'm going to use some of that dark color to add to the top now. Oh, let's see, there's some with a little darker green, so I'm going to like take from both of these because I need one that's a little lighter. That looks about it. Let's see if that works. I have to be careful how much water's on my brush too. I should have dabbed it a little bit, made sure there wasn't too much water before I started applying the paint. It's actually not quite that dark there. Sorry, they're really exciting. I did a really good job matching his colors. Thanks, Cervantes. I appreciate that. I tried as much as I could. I still have to push some of the colors a little bit, but like for the bottom part, I don't want to say skirt, but like the bottom part, I think I'm done with that. Just because the paper is getting kind of overworked and remix. It's getting overworked. I did it again. So yeah, I don't want to go over it anymore, but thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to get some of this darker green, not the black green, but the darker green. I'm going to add some of the shadows in. I'm going to try to blend those colors in. I'm cleaning my brush off and I'm going to make it a little damp. There we go. So like if you guys are interested in learning watercolor, I'd suggest practicing just like doing different things with the watercolor, different techniques like wet on dry and wet on wet. You can also add soap to the paper or to the paint. You can add salt. There's different things that you can do to change the visual texture of watercolor if that's an effect that you want. I don't really do too much of that stuff. I just use the watercolor paper and use either wet on wet or dry on dry, and that's pretty much it. I'll get fancy with the watercolor pencils. But that's how I use them. But how you use them is up to you and the effect that you want. I'll probably end up doing the face last and the hair last because I want to finish the cap and then I'll move on to the hair and the face. Like that's the very last thing I'll be doing probably on there. I know it's exciting to see the face, so it makes it look more exciting to look at. I don't know. Oh, sorry. I was asking if any of you worked with watercolor before. That's like a gray color here. Let's see. I still haven't drawn his actual fingers yet. I should probably do that too. While I let that side of the green dry. Maybe not just yet. Hold on. So I'm going to pull some of that back up. I tend to over apply the paint, but I like pulling it up for the highlights. I do not recommend doing this way though, but this is what it works best for me. I tend to overdo it and like the paper is getting overworked in some parts. So like from different things, I think it wouldn't do that as much. I mean, if you used actual watercolor paper, it's thicker and more durable on purpose to absorb the water and be able to handle that. But I wouldn't recommend using anything else besides watercolor paper. I've tried using different materials to paint on, and nothing compares to watercolor paper. It's what's used for a reason. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to eyeball some of the highlights. Take those out. I'm really trying to avoid using other things on top of this as much as I can. Like, I don't want to have to go back over with colored pencil on everything. I just wanted to use it for like some of the details that I wouldn't be able to do with the brush because they're too small. Excuse me. Cervantes. No, I wish I could do what you're doing. Aw, you can. I can teach you. I'll be your teacher. I'll try to give somewhat of an informal tutorial. I don't really like doing the teaching stuff anymore because I feel like never confident enough to teach people stuff, but like I can give people tips with what I've learned or learn from each other because I don't like being an authority on any sort of knowledge. So I'm here to help and guide, but not to teach, I guess. I really don't know what's the big difference. Like I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, or be really technical. It's just what I found. And my way of teaching is like very informal too. It's not like, so here's what we're going to learn today, and I'm going to take you to, teach you these techniques. Like if people want me to do more of that stuff, I can. If you guys want this to turn into a more tutorial type of site or channel, but I don't feel comfortable enough to do that, especially since there's so many people who are self-taught. They're a lot better than I am. Like I have no business telling people what to do. I think I like this more informal style, and if people have questions, then I can answer them. You know? I don't know. What do you think? I wish I could draw like you, Cervantes. You're very good at drawing. Maybe that's where our partnership is. I can give you a rough sketch of what I want and you can draw it for me and then I can color it in. Is that cheating? That's what is the word? Not cooperative. Like, gosh, what's the word? Do you know which word I'm talking about? Like joint? Not joint. Not joint. That's the wrong word. Partnership? No. Collaboration. Collaboration. That was the word I was looking for. It's an art collab. Well then. Yeah, I should have let this rest. I always take it too far. Like, I'm like, oh, let me put put more shadows in or this or that after I just took some off. Like, what am I doing? Let's try a different brush too. Let's see how much I can take off here. This brush isn't going to do it. That's not accurate enough. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to add in some of this stuff after the fact. Let's see how much I can get away with on the paper before I push it too much. Because it's becoming a little muddy there. I don't know, we'll see. It's looking okay so far. It's just not like where I want it to be yet. Alright, so I'm going to work on the other side of the shirt now. I feel like I need to apologize for my weird art faces I make when I'm making my artwork. I feel like my face twisting around everywhere because I'm trying to like Hey, I can control the paint with my mouth, okay? With my face. It's like Bewitched, you know, how she like wiggled her nose? That's what I do to control the paint. You just didn't know it. Don't tell anybody my secret, okay? Just between us. Teensy bit darker here. I'm just gonna stay at 2 streams per piece of artwork because it's just what it is, and that's how I've been painting. I wish I could paint faster. That comes with practice, though. I haven't been painting in a long time with watercolor. It's been a long time. I've been using a lot of acrylic, which I'm not like, you've been hearing me say I'm not a fan of, so I'm like, you know what? Why do I keep trying acrylic? Because I have it. I need to do watercolor. But also, like, the same time as like, oh, okay, well, I need to practice using acrylic because I'm not totally comfortable with it. And you need to practice to be good at something. That's what I heard today. I was like, I needed to hear that. Thank you, TikTok algorithm. It was a good message this morning because I always feel really bad too. I'm like, oh, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. Like, when do I practice though? Like, how can I get better if I don't practice? So that was a good pep talk from the internet. Okay. I'm trying. I still need to work on the hat. I got some of that done. Okay, so now I'm gonna work on his shirt a little bit. I'm gonna add some more color to his shirt because it's like a blue, like an aquamarine type of color. So I need to make that. Excuse me. Add some green. And some more green. I think I got it. I did. It's like a minty type of green. Maybe a little more blue. Or I just layer it till I get the right color. So that's always misleading too, because if you do a lighter shade, you can always layer it. That's actually like pretty close to what I need it to be. But that color was too green when I laid it on a little thick. So I'm gonna add a tiny bit of blue. So now I'm gonna do a little tiny bit of darker color of this. Different shade, I should say. I'm adding some black for the shadow. may have to pull some color off of there. Just a little bit down here. Okay. Then I'm going to add a darker for his neck color, like that darker tan. I'm going to probably have to make a custom color for that. Let's see if this works. Dogs love to bark right by the window. Maybe they can hear me talking. I think that's what it is too. Besides the people in the alley, they can probably hear me talking because I'm right by the window. So I'm guessing that's part of it. Okay, so I'm going to do some of the hair. I think that actually needs to be, I'm going to do the base color in some of the midtones, but I think some of those shadows, because they're so fine, need to be, they're so fine. They need to be colored pencil. But I need to custom mix that hair color now. His hair's not quite that yellow, it's like toned down. More like a light tan. It's kind of like his skin color, honestly, with the little yellow. So that's too dark. Let's add some of that skin color since I just recognized that's what it was. Some more yellow. But like green too? Let me add a tin of green, this green color. It's a really weird color in the picture. His blonde hair is like shaded a little differently. I think it has some green in it, if I can see that correctly. Yeah, this is about it. And that's about it. Okay, so I am going to add that in. Should I do? No, I shouldn't do that. I'm going to leave that there. I need to do his face. I just thought about that. Let me do his face. Like the coloring, not the details. So I need a peach color. So I'm going to make a peach right below the hair. It's like a darker peachy color. Let's see. Get some of that. It's about accurate. I'm like, oh, that's about accurate. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's funny how everybody uses that classical Rembrandt lighting on even artwork for the highlights, I noticed. So that's where they have the like triangle, upside down triangle highlight. I've noticed that that's pretty popular to do. may have to pull up some of that, especially around the forehead and the cheek area to like keep those highlights defined, but I also need to blend it. So there's the issue too. That's why I like to pull up on it, because it's like I'm able to blend and then pull up for the highlights. Oh, I wish you would do what you were doing. Oh no. Oh, I read that wrong. I thought I already had read that. I thought you were saying like, no, I wish you didn't do that. For some reason I read that. I was like, no, what did I do wrong? I'm so sorry. I did not please you. I need to do like more observational drawing too, so that I can have more practice drawing things in space, because I struggle with perspective and scale. Um, that's just something that I've noticed as I'm doing this. I'm really, especially when I draw, I'm trying to sketch out my idea or references, and it's just not like, it's hard. It takes me a really long time. That's why I've been doing it off stream. I'm envious of the people who can do it very quickly. So I'm lifting some of the paint off to create those highlights. I don't know if you can see it too well. It looks a lot like, it's harder to see all the gradations I'm creating on stream. It looks a lot different. That's okay though, it's pretty close. There's just things I see that the camera's not picking up. So that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. I think I may need to wet this paint, so I didn't work fast enough picking up that paint. And it dried down. Once I add the hair, I think I can add the shadows maybe. Let me try to do it now. There's actually like a darker brown. Where's that darker brown at? Like right in here. So I'm gonna move on to I think I actually add his skin color now. His little fingers. And fingers. Hands are always so hard, but I can't. I struggle so much with hands and fingers. That's why a lot of my stuff I was making for a long time was just busts. Like my self-portrait was just like my shoulder décolleté on up because I feel that uncomfortable drawing it so hard. So I'll just have to lay down the color and come back later with the detail. It looks weird. I think I made the leather part a little too thick, so it's like distorting the finger, where the fingers look. I'm pulling some of it off. That's like a golden red, coppery brown. Let's see if I can make that color for the leather. Let's add some goldenrod. Oh, thank you. You too. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I think because the shadows aren't there and the highlights yet, it was just a big block of color, so I'm like, oh, this looks so weird. Why does it look like this? I'm disappointed! Okay, I'll let that rest and then I'll add the shadows. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna get my footstool. I'm having trouble speaking today. Sorry. Excuse me. Okay, got that. I'm gonna see if I can use the water to erase some of these lines I had. My lines I erased that didn't quite erase because I used an actual eraser and not water. Well, that didn't really work out how I planned. That's okay though. At least it's not as sketchy looking there. I don't want to overwork the paper. Okay, so I laid down the color there. I'm gonna wait for that to dry and then come back over and refine it. It had strange audio clicks. The one before, sometimes they're like weird sounding or sometimes they're really loud and I have to turn them down. Like some of the music. The hi-hat. Let me get that dark brown. There we go. See, wet on dry creates more of a hard line. So like in the shadows and stuff, that's cool. Sad Broken Boy, hey! Is this lo-fi? Yeah, it is. Sometimes they include that in this style, like that weird audio clicking. There's always like all the time like lo-fi type of music, which I really do like. It's chill and it fits the stream really well. But like there'll be like random noises and like the headphones are pretty good. So like it sounds like it's in the room with me or like right outside or something. So I'm like, what's that noise? And that's why I always keep one off. It hurts my ears when I do that, but like always have one earphone off so I can hear everything that's going on in the room. Cause like sometimes I'm like, what the heck? Like one time there was a dog barking in one, but it like sounded like it was in the backyard or something. So I was like, what the heck? But you think it might be the mic? Oh no! I muted myself and spoke to see if you guys could hear me, because I'm trying to troubleshoot now if it's the mic. I don't hear any audio clicks anymore. Do you, Cervantes? Oops, I should probably move the painting more so you guys can see it. Oh no! When the kids were coloring on my art table, they got so much paint or watercolor, whatever, alcohol ink. Hopefully it doesn't affect the painting. It's pretty dry, but still. Okay, so now I'm gonna add more color to the glove. Excuse me. No, it's good. Thanks. Oops, was reading and typing. So you just been taking notes here for my class? No problem. Sad Broken Boy, I appreciate the lurking too. No problem. I appreciate it. I know my stream's like a background type and you check in once in a while. I get it. When I review my stuff, I just skip through it to see and then I'll listen in to hear stuff and all the silence I have. I think too because the music's so chill at the same time, I'm like really relaxed. And then I like think of it just me listening to music and painting and hanging out with you guys, so then I forget to talk. I am working on that. Especially when it's something I really need to concentrate on, I feel like. I can't multitask. It's just the nature of how I do things. I have to wait for that brown to dry so I can get closer up to it. I'm gonna pull up some paint for the highlights because I lose those when I blend. And that's really, the highlights is what really helps, and the shadows make it pop. And that becomes so flat looking. So after this brown part dries, I can add more shadow. I think I only have to go over the gloves one more time with the shadow after this, and that's it. And then I'll move to the hair, finish up the rest of the armor, or the shield and the sword. Oh no, I made the middle part real small. I just realized that. It's too late. It's okay, proportions are going to be off a little bit. Shoot, that sucks. So I'm going to have to make up some folds and stuff here. Wait, what's this at the bottom? Hey, Hyper. Oh! Nice to see you, Hyper. Thank you. Right, you can kind of fall asleep sort of sometimes when you're in that element. Yeah, exactly, said Broken Boy. That's how I feel. Yeah, right? Said Broken Boy about the music. Right. Hyper, I'm so glad to see you. Thank you for joining. You can play. There may be enough people in chat to play Battle Royale, but there's games. It's a mini game on chat, and it shows the chat too for the most part. I'll move it up. I didn't realize my painting was getting cut off a little bit. How's work been, Hyper? You been okay at work? Let's see. So I think I can, oops. They can fight, hug, they play games. She thought it would help people in chat stay engaged. Yeah, because I know it can be like I was telling Sad Broken Boy, it's like a really chill stream, so I don't expect people to stay the entire time, but that helps too. While you can like still watch what's going on but play, you know, glance up. So there are mini games. I think it saves like all your stats and stuff, doesn't it? I haven't played it because they've been streaming. But it seems really fun. Like one day I'll have to do just that and play with you guys, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. What was I doing? Oh, I was gonna add more. shadows up here. Lo-fi is always like a rainy day, cold rainy day to me. I push some of the attack. Oh, you're attacking. Nice, Ozzy. Is Ozzy gonna win? He's like pro at stream avatars. Okay. I think I'm gonna move on to his hair for right now, and then I'll move on to the shield. That... Oh no, Hyper, you're in Texas? I thought so. I didn't want to ask, but I was pretty sure you were. Oh my gosh. This winter storm meant no power for a while. Luckily, we prepared and food and power wasn't too much of a problem for us. But for many in my city were without power for 6 hours at a time. Yeah, my uncle lives in Texas and he didn't have power for several days. It was kind of scary, and we have friends there too. Luckily, they have power, but I heard you guys have to boil your water. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you guys are safe. It's that homework music or doing anything really with work. Yeah. Hyper. When you learn after radio silence that your senator fled to Mexico while his state was getting frozen to death. Yeah. Unacceptable. I'm sorry to hear that, Hyper. Cervantes says, oh man, I hope you're doing alright, Hyper. I have some friends there and one had to move in with the other because they don't have power or water. Yeah. The extra stress of having to boil your water on top of all of that. I can't imagine. Yeah, a lot of people were saying luckily they were prepared, but I know a lot of people weren't, you know, because some people were like, oh, being prepped is an over, you know, response or exaggeration, but now you, the way things have been, you never know. You never know when you need stuff or when you need to be prepared. I don't know, some people maybe are oblivious to the fact that you need to prepare sometimes because the way things have just been, you never know what's going to happen. It's better to be prepared than not. You know, that whole grocery store thing. Did I use the wrong color? I might have. Yeah, and thinking about your groceries, you guys have to wait for trucks to be able to come in if there's no electricity. I'm really sorry, Hyper, about that. I hope things get resolved for you all soon. Then you're doing public service work as well, so how has that been for you? Sad. Oh, wait. Okay. Hyper said, our city fire department had to issue no burn because some people's houses were catching on fire since it was only way to keep warm. one thing I heard is it's still bad to get gallons of water in your tub. I'm sorry. I'm reading chat, sorry. I'm so sorry, Hyper. People shouldn't be going through that. Sorry. And people were... I try not to, like, talk about political stuff or, like, get really emotional on stream, but, like, somebody had mentioned, too, the camps. And the families that are, like, in those camps, it was already cold as it was, and, like, no electricity. They can't help themselves or go anywhere. I feel like no matter what you feel about that, that's still, like, a human rights issue. Everything that's going on, it's kind of rough. No, what I was saying is to do, like, if you got water from those places that dispense water, to put it into their tub. Yeah. Just to be ready. Yeah. Yeah, our friends had gotten lots of food and water supplies before, like, once the pandemic hit, they just had, like, a emergency supply of stuff, and they've ended up having to use it, so, like, that's a good thing, I guess, for those people. Oh, you can't see the... Can't really see the highlights on there. I wish you could see the more subtlety things that are happening, the more subtle things that are happening here on the paper with the highlights, but you can't see them. Okay, let's see. I need a little bit darker now. Okay, let's see. There's that. Give me 1 second. Excuse me, I need to get some tissue. Sorry about that. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. When things happen to, excuse me, people that are out of their control, or when people are suffering, I take it really hard. It makes me feel bad, like I want to help somehow, but I can't. It makes me feel really helpless and sorry. Sorry for everybody. So, sorry for my emotions, I apologize. Okay. I'm okay now. Let me see if I can. My city wasn't too bad, but the small towns that encircle my city have it rough with water boil notice for low water pressure and power outages. Honestly, I would expect my governor to learn a thing or two from how he acted during the virus, but I hope it wasn't very. Nope, he wasn't very helpful this time either. It's honestly depressing with how my state has been preparing for all these disasters that were literally foreseen. Yeah. Because, I mean, if he can go to Mexico easily, it doesn't affect him, right? Personally. People conspiracy theorists when they seen this coming, saying to prepare and stock up in food and water. Yes, I've known and exactly. I know how you feel. I know how you feel because I've been trying to say that too. You don't know. On a brighter note, which version of Link are you drawing? Uh, but yeah, Link looking good so far. Thanks, Sad Broken Boy. You know, I'm not sure what Link that is. I commissioned this one for myself. Thank you, Cervantes. You think it's Twilight Princess? I actually don't. I've never played Zelda before, and I really want to. I grew up with Mario, so I'm like in that sort of um I'm in that clan of people. I guess you were either like a Zelda or a Mario growing up, and Cervantes was more of a Zelda, and I was more of a Mario. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to add some of the hair is not going to be exactly the same because that's a little too detailed for watercolor. I'm adding what I can. And hoping that it looks good enough. Oh, that's what I was doing. Where's that darker? So I used some of that, mixed it. That's what I was doing. I got distracted with my emotions. Okay, let's see. Oops, that is a little too thick. It should have been thinner up and down. Oops, no. That was like a weird line I didn't mean to make. There we go. It needs to be more curved. I just did a Google search. I wanted to make sure it had a link and oh, okay. Yeah, that's what you were saying earlier. Outside of that, I wasn't picking a specific version. Let's see. Oops, it pulled in some green. I didn't mean for that to do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do is use some of this dark. Then I watered it down too much. So let's just pull some of that over here. Okay, there we go. did some of that. I think I need to add more. Kids are sassy today. Okay, let's build some of that up. Oh, you're gonna start Battle Royale? Yay, that's fun. Basketball's kind of weird because it gets like in the screen too much. Battle Royale's okay. It doesn't like crowd the screen a whole lot. Is that the one where you guys, well, what's the one where you fight the boss? What is that one? That's not Battle Royale, right? Okay, so let's set darker in the bottom too because it's in the back. Hyper, that was not very omelet du fromage of you Cervantes. That's funny. I forgot about your food speak. It's a little too much here. I need to pull some out. Okay, so look alright so far. Let's see. We could try the boss one if you'd like, Hyper. It's a turn-based game where you pick a class. How would that work? Never done this before. Yeah, Cervantes can explain. I haven't played it. I've just witnessed it, which is fun to see. Add some of this brown to the other side. Oops, I need to add a little bit more. Maybe that's gonna have to be colored pencil because it keeps bleeding out, or it's the paper's still a tiny bit wet, but it's like changing the shape of the shadow here and it's not helping the way the hair looks yet. I think I'm gonna go over that with color pencil a little bit, just the small details. I think I should do that with the rest of it too. I'm gonna put some of the shadows in the hair. I'm struggling with the hair. I do have a hard time like doing highlights and stuff. I need hair practice. Let's see. 1 second. So basically, once it starts, you'll type join, and then the name of the class you want on screen will display 3 commands. When it's your turn, you choose whichever you like, and then it moves to another person that is playing. I'm the boss. 60 seconds to type join. Choice warrior, priest, mage. The hair is not exact at all, but it's close. Alright. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm gonna move on to the shield, and then I'll probably come back to the shoe for a little bit and do finishing touches up, and then I'll start doing the face. You have to wait till it's your turn again. Oh, that felt nice. Excuse me. I'm gonna hydrate while you guys are playing. I cried all my liquid out. You can life steal? Could I use this, Cervantes? Do you think I could do this mode, this game, as like a screen or something if I need to be AFK for a minute, and then something you guys can play? I don't know, thinking about that. She granted all of us lifesteal. Oh, yes, I did. I bestowed upon you lifesteal. You're welcome. I know, excuse me, it's kind of dystopian, but there were people doing their best to help. Sports centers opened up. Oh yeah, that was right. As in heat centers during the whole time here. I seen somebody too was offering their office too, and like I have plenty of food here, and heat and electricity and water and everything else that you could need. I have it here, and offering their office. It looked like a freaking penthouse to people. Demoralized, not sure. Yeah, it is. I like honestly like had a hard time mentally for a long time after this all started. And then it was like one trauma after another hearing about, and then I decided to stop watching the news because it was like way too much for me. I couldn't handle it. I felt like I was like breaking mentally and I couldn't do it anymore. You know, some of the, I mean, like, yeah, some things are out of our control, but some things are in our control. And when you cannot, how do I say this? You can't control other people. You can just control what you can do. So that's also stressful. So this may be one of those things I finish off stream and post on Instagram again. I think that's been usually like because it's not quite enough for another stream to do. So if I don't finish, I usually do it off stream. Usually do that stuff off stream and then post it on Instagram. So that's how I've been handling that. Because I do work a little slowly. And I don't want to take more than 2 streams to complete an artwork. Especially since, especially since there's not too much left for another stream to do. I mean, I could take more time to work on it, but my attention span is not, like, I try not to take more than 2 streams. That's it. I'm ready to move on to something else once one is done. Oh, I still need to fix his hat too. So I'm going to work on the shield a little bit, move back to his hat, and then that'll be that. And then I'll come back with the Prismacolors to add in the details. Oh, and the sword. I need to do a little bit more sword. You don't have enough priests? Darn those NPCs always wanting to play. Oh, it's almost time for me to get off anyway. So let's finish up the watercolor piece to this, and then I'll do the drawing off screen. I'll at least finish up the watercolor pieces to this. Watercolor parts, and then I'll do the colored pencil parts off stream and then show you guys the final product whenever I post it on Instagram. It's usually like the next day I post it. Sometimes it's like way later on in the day. Jeez. You're good to finish? They got you? Oh, Cervantes, though, like, physically that's my limit, is about 2 and even, I'm surprised I got this long, 2.5 hours. I need to stretch my legs and all kinds of other stuff. Oops, I forgot the little golden color up here. You've yet to see anybody beat the pumpkin? I bet you if there was like a ton of people, maybe? What do you think? There is an easy boss? Cool. Hey Tenno, how are you? No, I get it. How's work been too? Oh boy. Thank you for joining. No problem. I'm glad to see you. I'm doing this watercolor here. It's been taking me a little bit of time because I have to wait for it to dry and go back over and work in layers and kind of like keep running around. Let's see. Tenno, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Work's been real crazy. I bet. I bet everything that's going on. I can't imagine. Oops, that's not the right one. There we go. So I'm gonna get this gray. It's hard to, drawing this has been kind of hard, especially like the straight lines. I literally have to hold my breath to draw a line, and I already messed up. But that's okay. I can pick up the paint here, clean it up a little bit. You've been working with COVID things? Yeah, so we've been real busy. All the vaccines and whatnot. Everything else in between. This brush here is so versatile. It's a medium. This is actually what I got from Target. That's funny. A medium round for details and line work. So that's been really helpful for me. It's a little bit too wet. Sorry if you're hearing the kids argue. They've been at each other's throats today. And a lot lately. hello. That that was easy. Oh darn. I lost that gradation that I liked. Aw, thank you, Tenno. Stay safe. Thank you. Yeah, Tenno, I hope you get some rest and stay safe. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate it. Hyper, did you ask if I needed to do anything during the winter storm? No, no, we didn't. It's just been unseasonably cold. I thought the winter was over, and then all of a sudden it was really cold. So that was that. But I like to stay prepared. You know, I hadn't like been ever prepared for anything. I just kind of like, oh, live, day by day and not prepped for anything. And then after everything happened, I've been like, you need to be prepared for everything. Like, and it was weird that Texas experienced a powder outage because I had been looking like up generators and stuff because we did lose power briefly, not during the winter storm, but was like a few weeks back. We had lost some power, and I was like, you know what? We don't have a generator. Like, we really do need a generator, and like emergency items just to have on hand, like like the hand cranked like radio or phone charger. I'm trying to think of things that you would need electricity for, um, things like that. My parents kind of prep for things a lot more than I do, and I was like, oh, whatever, that's just what they do, and I'm not really do that too much. And then after everything happened, I'm like, oh, they're prepared. That's why they called preppers. Oh, yay, Ozzy! Thank you. Thanks, Ozzy. I appreciate that. I don't see I don't see the cloud thing coming down though to say when you get bits and stuff. I think that may be it though. I'm gonna finish the rest, like I said, off stream, and then I'll post it on Instagram. I'm gonna work on the hat a little bit more and then add some more details with a colored pencil. All right. Sorry to interrupt your fun, everybody, but I'm about to get off now. Kids are getting rambunctious too, and I've had my attention being pulled a lot. So I will be back. What's today? Friday? Oh, I'll be back tomorrow. And I think I might play a game. I think I was saying I was going to play a game tomorrow. I haven't played a game in a long time. So I'll figure out what I'm going to play. Might be Hearthstone, something new on Game Pass. Maybe it could be Roblox. I don't know. I have no idea what I'll feel like playing tomorrow. Let me know maybe what games you'd like to see me play. Don't play Battle Royale. That's like not on the... That's a no-go for me though. Alright. I hope everyone has a good day. Stay safe and make sure that you love yourself and everybody else.